Rosh Jai Baba, everybody. This is April Fool's Humor after Arti this morning. And Roshini will be back as host, I'm sure. So here we go. Anybody got a joke?
You know how a ballerina wears this little fluffy skirt, right? So what do you call the skirt of a very, very, very thin ballerina? One.
No, say it from the beginning. Sorry, I didn't hear from the beginning. Please.
Okay. A ballerina wears a very, very fluffy little skirt. And if you have a very, very, very thin ballerina, what do you call that?
Well,
a one.
one.
What do you call the other one?
Tutu.
Tutu.
It's a tutu. A ballerina skirt is a tutu, so if you see
This is a 1-1.
Oh, I see. Sometimes I need an explanation. Well, I remember a funny story from MEHERA's book. I'm not a good joke teller, and this is just a funny story that I liked. I think they were in Dehradun at that time that they were in Dehradun, and sometimes Baba would let them take a walk. So they were taking a walk, and one day, and MEHERA, you know, she loves gardens. So one day she was passing by a garden, and she was really taken by it. And every time she went anywhere, if there was something that she liked from a garden, she would take a piece and then bring it to Meherazad and grow it, try to grow it. So there she goes by this garden, and this gardener allows them to come in and to see. And they see this beautiful garden. Of course, she's with MEHERA and other women. She sees the beautiful vegetable garden and this huge, huge lettuce, really huge. So the gardener allows them to take this huge lettuce, and they walk with this huge lettuce, and because they're walking, it's heavy. So they pass it from hand to hand because it's too heavy to carry. And they come home and with this huge lettuce. And everyone gets one leaf of the lettuce. It's so big. So a whole meal is with one leaf of the lettuce. But because it was so huge, and one leaf was enough for one person, it went on for day after day after day after day until they got sick of this lettuce. So I just can see this picture, you know, with this huge lettuce walking in and passing it to each other, and getting very excited about it at the beginning, but getting very tired of it at the end, where they have to eat it and it's not finished. They have to finish it all. So that's one fun story that I like from Baba's MEHERA's book.
So they had a lettuce that was that big that they got tired of eating it?
And not only they couldn't carry it the whole way. They passed it from each to each other. It was so big, and they couldn't finish it. And that one leaf of this lettuce was so big that they were eating, each one of them, one leaf of lettuce.
Amazing.
Imagine that. Yeah.
I've heard of that happening in like Alaska, where you have 24-hour sun, where you have enormous, I think it's cabbages. But wow, in India there.
Now I remember that Bauji used to tease beef supper for growing big cabbages and big tomatoes, and yeah. I don't know. I never seen that, but I remember the Bauji used to tease him all the time.
Okay. So I would like to share this one of our very loving stories from Baba's mischievous plays of doing things with the mandali. So I'll read that out. This is from Lord Meher, page 318, 319. The year is 1922, when Baba is staying at Manzil-e-Meem with the mandali. In addition, during the month of August 1922, Baba often remarked that Upasani Maharaj would come to the manzil and give darshan, and that the mandali should be prepared for his arrival, although he never did show up. For relaxation, Baba would go to Munshi's house to play cards. Once, while playing cards at Munshi's, he quietly stole a card from Ramju, and as a result, his side won. In the middle of the next game, Ghani did likewise. But this time, Ramju saw it. He complained to Baba, who rebuked Ghani for cheating. Ghani, for some time, bitterly thought, Meher himself prefers cards and then rebukes me for doing the same. After a while longer, Baba stopped the game and told the men a true story of about a perfect master. One day, a Sadguru went with some of his disciples to a city where he was known. He approached a candy shop and entering, put some sweets in his mouth. His disciples too mimicked him in this respect. He then visited a bakery, and there also the same thing happened. He picked up some cookies and put them into his mouth, and his disciples did the same. Then he went to a blacksmith's shop where there were red hot pieces of iron in the furnace. The master picked up one of the pieces and ate it. His disciples stared at him. The Sadguru then said, Now eat this too. Not one dared move, and the master admonished, Why did you do as I did? Are you parrots? Never do as I do, but do as
So
I
did you take
say.
it?
After hearing this tale, Gani
Wait, hold
burst
on.
out
Hold
laughing,
on.
and Baba asked the reason. He replied, I bow down to your knowledge. You have answered my question superbly. Jai Baba. And from this story emerged the quote, Don't do as I do as I say. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Yes, Mehal, you have a story.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that this was going to be, so I didn't look at Lord Mayor, but I remember all these funny stories around Baba. So with Ghani, he was such a character. So he was so lazy that he would go to sleep with his shoes and socks on. So he would not have to wake up in the morning with his clothes and shoes and socks on. So he would not have to wake up in the morning and put them all back on. And when in Manzil-e-Meem, they were supposed to get up early in the morning and wash and then sit and down at meditation. And Ghani hated that. It was cold water, I think. So he used to go into the bath area, and he used to splash the water on the wall to make the noise of the water as if it's washing him, and he used to say like this and go out. I think one of the days, if I remember right, and Baba just walked in the middle of the show and showed him that you can't trick an avatar. So this was one tale. And another tale, a funny tale that I remember with Sham, with Baba's dog, who was so very jealous of him. And that was at the time that he was on the hill with the ladies, but he was sleeping in the tin cabin, in the cabin on near the Samadhi. So So he used to have chapatis given to him to eat, and he would share them with the dog. But there was a cow that also learned that there was someone very generous there. So she would come to have some chapatis too, and Baba would give her. And Cham was so jealous that he would chase her, but she would not leave because she wanted to eat. So she would run around the cabin and get and snatch the chapatis that Baba would give her, and the dog would run after her, and they would go around and around and around, and Baba would have so much fun because he would see this chasing the dog chasing the cow, and each one snatching this piece of chapati from him. So Baba was so much fun. He had so much humor. He still has one of his ways um, of knowing that he is with us, in our heart and in our daily life, is by his funny humor way of doing things and cheering me up in his funny ways, showing me things that would make me smile. So thank you, Baba.
Jai Baba. There's also this story about you fools when Bhauji joined Baba in Dehradun, and how Baba utilized him to do this nasty job where everybody came like rolling down on Bhauji. So I'll read that story. According to Baba's, this is 1953, Dehradun. According to Baba's order, Bhauji had come to Dehradun to stay with him permanently on Wednesday, 8th July 1953. Baba explained to him, the first order I'm giving you is to visit the rooms of the Mandli every night and say loudly, "You fools, keep silence after 9 o'clock." Baba added, "This is only the beginning for you." Bhau was a newcomer, the youngest of the Mandli at 27, and some of the older members had been with Baba since the 1920s. Soon after sunset, Bhau became very nervous and twice had to go to the toilet. At last, it was 9 p.m., and he started out on his sadhana. He went to every room and hesitatingly did as Baba ordered. Nothing happened by his repeating the statement, and all men thought it was a joke and enjoyed it, though they did not know it was Baba's order. But when he came to Kekobad's room, Bhau saw that Kekobad was silently praying. Bhau opened the door and shouted, "You fool, keep silence after 9 o'clock." Kekobad turned to Bhau with a mingled look of surprise and anger. But his duty being over, Bhau hurriedly slipped away. The next day, Kekobad told Vishnu, "This Bhau is an absolutely rude chap. Last night, when I was praying in my room, he quietly opened my door and came in and said, 'You fool, keep silence after 9 o'clock.' I was, of course, already silent." "He said the same thing to me," said Vishnu. "He's new and we should forget about it." "He has a master's degree," Kekobad continued, "but still is quite a fool, and he has no manners." The second night also, Bhav repeated Baba's order again, disturbing Kekobad in his prayer. What could Bhav do? It was his act of prayer, and he had to do it. Kekobad, though, again complained to Baba, who withdrew the order. Meanwhile, Bhav was assigned the duties of handling Hindi correspondence, night watch for a few days, looking after Isa, the troublesome sweeper's son, and most importantly, attending to Nanga Mast. 4 days after Bhav's arrival in Dehradun, this Mast of Najibabad, whom Baba had contacted in March, walked more than 62 miles to Dehradun. Seeing him on the road, Elcha informed Baba. He was about a mile away, and Baba sent a car to bring him. When he was brought, Baba ordered Bhav, "Serve this must. Attend to his wants and look after him well. Bhau had never seen a must before, and he was quite sure what Baba saw in him. All Bhau could see was a man completely naked, with thick matted hair, covered from head to foot with years of dirt from never washing. After bathing Nanga Mast, Baba showed Bhau the room where the must has to be kept. The must was made to lie down on a bed, and provision for his toilet was made. He was like a majzub, mostly unconscious of his body, though he was often seen wandering about. After instructing Bhau, Baba returned to his bungalow. Going to his room, Bhau began his correspondence work. After a short while, Baba came back from his bungalow and went straight to the must's room. Bhau followed and was taken aback by the scene. The must had moved his bowels, excreting in the bed, and it was filthy. Baba looked at Bhau, but did not say anything. Instead, he himself cleaned the bed and the must, and Bhau felt ashamed for not being more attentive. From that day onward, Bhau dedicated himself to the care of the must. But daily Baba would find some fault with him. The must would pass stools 4 or 5 times a day, and each time Bhau had to clean him and wash his clothes and sheets. Baba would come abruptly to the must's room at any time and would also take Bhau to task for some minor fault. When Bhau would bring the must his food, the must would tell him, "You eat it, you eat it." It took Bhau a long time to feed the must. Only with great difficulty would he be prevailed upon to eat something. One day the must was clean and everything in the room was absolutely spotless. Bhau thought Baba would be pleased at last. But no sooner had Baba come than the must urinated in the bed. And Baba reproved Bhau. Usually the must had a peaceful temperament, but one night he slapped Bhau soundly. Bhau was convinced the must be truly mad. The next day Baba asked Bhau, "Speak the truth. What do you think of Nanga Baba?" Bhau replied, "I have no idea about must, but this one seems to be quite mad." "How did you pass your MA degree?" Baba asked. "Did you have to bribe someone? You have no sense at all. You say he is mad, but I tell you, he is a must and an advanced soul. He is not mad. You are mad." Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Where are these stories written?
They are in Lord Meher.
Oh, because Bauji tells these stories in While the World Slept, but it's different. So it's the same story,
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah, very beautiful. Thank you.
Great stories there. Thank you.
Yes, I remember some of these stories too that Val shared. And I have to say, I'm happy to have been here with you, and I must leave now. Loving Jai Baba to you all. Thank you, Betty.
Oh, come back, Irma.
Okay,
Bring more jokes.
Yeah.
one more joke.
Bring-
One for the road, one for the road.
And where can single men over the age of 70 find younger women who are interested in them? Try the bookstore under fiction. Hey, Baba.
Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba, Irma.
You know, in school time, we had these funny one-liners like, "What is the time when an elephant sits on a chair?" "It is time to buy a new chair."
Good one there. Yeah.
Then
Well,
one was, what is more difficult than an elephant delivering a baby in the backseat of a car?
Delivering a baby in the front seat of a car.
Two elephants making a baby in the car.
um, so, I mean, you guys heard these stories. If I can share some jokes, actually. Yeah.
Prakash, we can't see you.
Oh, yeah, of course. I just show myself, but here I am. So here, a couple of stories I'm sure we all know. But it's fun to share again. So one story is about Big Chief and no shit, right? You guys know this, I'm sure, right?
Go ahead and tell it.
So, well, this is a story that Jal used to tell Baba to entertain him. So there is this Indian chief who was constipated. So, and then what he does is the Indian chief sends one of his warriors to a witch doctor to get some medicine. So the warrior goes to the doctor and says, Big Chief, I mean, this guy has very little knowledge of English, obviously. So the warrior goes to the doctor and says, Big Chief, no shit. So the doctor gave him one pill and told him the chief should be fine tomorrow. So the warrior went back to the chief and gave him the pill. The next morning, the warrior was sent back to the witch doctor and says, Big Chief, no shit. The doctor gives him 5 pills and tells him to give them to the chief. The next day, the warrior appears at witch doctor's house yet again, saying, Big Chief, no shit. So the doctor gets annoyed and so gives the warrior the whole bottle of pills to give to the chief. The next day, the warrior goes back to the witch doctor. Big shit, no chief. So that's the joke that Jal would share in front of Baba. Yeah.
I think Tony was earlier talking about that eagle joke. It was Tony, right? So it reminded me of another college time group friend who every time that he had a joke, he would actually miss a very crucial part. And at the end of the joke, just because before somebody starting, he would make us remember the whole joke. And then, remember that thing happened? Then, oh, I forgot to tell you in between that fellow fell down. And we would try to jog our minds to the whole joke. And the punchline would be gone because he would make us stop and listen to the whole story around the joke of how he missed that main part. And then he would be the same one if like how Prakash said, did you all know this joke, for example, of Big Chief, no shit? And this friend, every time if somebody is starting a joke or asking something like that, would go, oh, isn't that the same thing where in the end this guy says this? He would just kill the joke there and then, and everybody would pounce at his throat like, why the hell did you have to tell the climax? Yeah, it was such amazing times in school and college. Ralph has his hand up. Yes, Ralph. Jai Baba.
Can you show your
Ralph,
face,
are you there?
Ralph?
Oh, I'm
You are muted.
muted.
Now you're gone. Oh, maybe he's coming back in.
The disappearing act. That's the joke.
I have a few more from Will Rogers.
Yeah.
He says, never miss a good chance to shut up. And okay, I'm looking for Ralph. He's not here yet. If you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Oh, letting the cat out of the bag is a whole lot easier than putting it back. Well, here's a, oh, Ralph, where'd you go? Never slap a man who's chewing tobacco. And never kick a cow chip. That means like dung. That's what it is. Never kick a cow chip on a hot day. Oh, there's the one. There are two theories to arguing with a woman. Neither works.
Yeah.
There's another one that all all single girls say that all good men are married, and all the wives say their husbands are bad. Moral of the story: are there any good men?
Oh, so here
There's
is a
this.
nice one.
Yes, Prakash.
Yeah, this is the one again, I believe Jal used to share with Baba. So one second. Oh, a newlywed joke. So, I mean, Pratap shared some of these stories, Pratap ji. And he said whenever some jokes like this would be told and he wasn't married at that time, Baba would send him out of because he's not allowed to listen to those. So this is, I believe, one of them, and this may be one of them. Every day after they were married, it's a newlywed joke. The husband found his wife frowning at him. He was feeling worse and worse when one day he woke up and it seemed she was smiling. Ah, he said, so now you're happy with me. No, she replied, I'm just resting my face. And some simple ones, some funny ones.
Yes.
And another joke which I remember, I mean, I can't read because I don't have a text in front, but it was printed in Love Street Lamp Post way back. And I believe Sister Mani used to share this. And she mentions about a kindergarten classroom where the teacher asks, it's a spiritual class. So the teacher asks, where is God? And everybody says, oh, he's in temple. Well, I mean, one kid says he's in temple. Another one says he's in synagogue, mosque, and so on and so forth. And finally, there is this little one at the back, in the back chair who raised his hand. And the teacher would go and ask him, where do you think is God? Well, he says, in my bathroom. Then he says, why? He says, every day in the morning, my dad would go near the bathroom and say, oh my God, are you in there? Because the wife would take apparently a long time to have a.
Oh, my.
Once there's joke. Once this husband who never went to church goes for the first time to the church, and after he returns from the Sunday mass, he's damn happy, and he goes into the room and picks up his wife, and he goes around the whole house, lifting her, and she's like completely amazed. What happened to him suddenly? So much of showering of love and display of affection and all of that. So after the whole house got done, he comes and just like plonks her onto the bed. And she says, oh my God, that's rude. Like, what happened? Why you just threw me off? And it's like, enough is enough. I loved going to church and I think I'll go every Sunday because today Father told us an important lesson that we must all learn to carry our own burdens around the house.
Baba. Then Ralph came back. Ralph, you had a joke, no?
Yes, it's right.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a funny story. Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't remember. This is a true story, Baba, but I don't recall or when, and perhaps some of you may. But there was an occasion when Baba was going on perhaps a trip or just a trip. He was going on a trip with the Mandali, and they were taking tremendous amount of baggage. And Baba was supervising. It was going to be crowded in the vehicle, so Baba was supervising the packing of the baggage and everything. And then Baba Baba appointed someone else to do his job, and Baba left briefly and came back, and the Mandali were all in the car, and the last person had just gotten in the car, and the car was so packed, Baba looked and started to laugh because there was no place for him to sit. They'd got the car loaded. There's no place for Baba to sit. Baba laughed, and so I don't know how they resolved it. Anyone remember that story?
No, but it's funny. Yeah, we leave
Yeah.
God out of the car.
It reminds me of this one small story where they were in Pune and they all were in the car, and there's this huge, crazy crowd onto the roads. And Baba asked that, what's going on? Why is there so much traffic and jam? And what are all these public doing on the road? Say, oh, there is this Hazrat. Hazrat is a saint in Sufi, he's a Muslim, whose dargah is there. And this guy is, going to put flowers and garlanding him, and he's blocked the whole way. And Baba just smiles, and everybody doesn't understand. And Baba says, see how foolish it is. He is the same Hazrat in his past life, and today he is going to garland his own self onto his dargah. And that just single statement just proves of how we end up doing funny things, not knowing anything of about our sanskaras and how our sanskaras are acting out in our current lifetime.
That's
And
beautiful.
Baba, in all his humor, created us to have these histrionics 24/7 to keep him going and laughing.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is this
There was-
story of MEHERA and Mani going in the train in the times that the war was on, and it was very crowded, and they could hardly find place. But they found this place where they could be, and Rano was with them. So they were in this cabin of the train, department of this train, where there were other Zoroastrian women. And they got to talk with them, and they explained that Rano was their guest. So how you receive guests and you take care of them, and that she is a British lady, and it was very different, for Indian-born ladies to be with a British lady, and how good it is and all that. And they were very nicely talking with them as they were princely brought up in their homes, of course, but also by Baba, and everything was fine. Then they had to get to the station and get off. And as they got off, it was very crowded, and they didn't have a lot of time to get off and to take all the things out of the train. And they too, Rano told them, "You go, and I will get all the luggage," because she was used to packing and unpacking the bus, the blue bus, in the blue bus tours. So you go, and I will do that. And she keeps doing that, dumping all the luggage, and these ladies are looking at her, this is how you treat your guests. So they're very proper, when they're sitting there and talking with them, and suddenly they're out of being proper at all. So funny.
Funny, sorry.
Yeah, Baba had
There's
his.
this other
I
story
have
called, yes, Prakash, please, you carry on.
sorry, I have this video by Gabe Wood. I'm sure you guys know his name. I mean, it's an audio where he tells jokes about you're a Baba lover if kind of thing. So if you guys want to listen, I can share that. Just a 5-minute one or less than that. Very short one.
Sure.
Yes.
But I need to become a co-host or something just to.
see who needs to do that. I think it's your wife who has to. I don't think we can make you a co-host.
Okay, okay, no, that's fine. No, it's just, you guys know this probably, but anyway.
There was
Is
this,
Sally
uh,
there?
No.
Yes,
I don't
that
think-
Yes,
is,
I'm here.
She can make
Could you-
you a co-host.
Yes.
I can make you co-host. Yeah,
Yes.
okay, Prakash, 1 second. Uh,
oh, okay. Now let me see if I can find that.
Oh, you're the host now, so yeah.
Oh, I don't, okay. But that's fine. Here it is. So let me share the screen. I don't know if I have to share the screen.
For audio, I don't know. Yeah.
If you've ever considered naming your child Hindu, you might be a Baba lover.
Okay, 1 second.
If you are offended when a complete stranger does not want to hug you, you might be a Baba lover. If you think bowing down to furniture will bring you closer to God, you could only be a Baba lover. If you've ever considered naming your child Hindu, you might be a Baba lover. If you are offended, if you've ever considered naming your child Hindu, you might be a Baba lover. If you are offended when a complete stranger does not want to hug you, you might be a Baba lover. If you think bowing down to furniture will bring you closer to God, you could only be a Baba lover. If you think heaven will serve an all-you-can-eat dal buffet, you might be a Baba lover. And speaking of food, if you've ever fixed a meal in the refectory and 35 people just magically appear to eat it, you're a Baba lover. If you can skip buying groceries and subsist solely on goodies from the communal fridge for 2 weeks, you might be a Baba lover. If all the decor in your house is just pictures of the same guy, you might be a Baba lover. If all your vacations are to a desolate, polluted village in India, you could only be a Baba lover. If your custom designer clothes are made by MEHERA Taylor, you might be a Baba lover. If the love of your life hasn't spoken to you since 1925, you might be a Baba lover. And finally, for this half of the set, if you consider BABA to be a secure password, or 1894 and 1969 to be secure ATM PIN codes, you can steal my identity. Thank you.
Oh, that was great.
That was really great.
94 and 1969. I think exactly.
If your lover is silent, no
Since
talking to
1925.
you in 1925. Oh, Baba.
There's this one more story about Erach's silk pants. Erach Jasawala was married in 1945 to Khurshid Damania, and that is a different story altogether. For his wedding, a shirt and a pair of pants were fashioned out of silk. After the wedding, Erach folded these clothes up and put them in a cabinet in his family home, Bindra House in Pune. A year or two later, Baba was visiting Pune and planned to take the women Mandli out to the cinema one evening. They all came by to visit with the Jasawala family at Bindra House, and Baba asked Gaimai, Erach's mother, if she had a nice pair of pants that he could wear. She immediately ran to the cupboard where Erach had stashed his wedding clothes and brought out the pants. Baba tried Erach's pants on and they fit perfectly, except that the waist was too big, sorry. Baba's sign for Erach was making a rounded gesture with his hand. Looking around, Baba spied a string of lying on the kitchen floor, picked it up, and threaded it through the belt loops to hold the pants up. Gaimai, horrified, this string was from a gunny sack used to clean the floor, almost leapt on Baba to hurriedly remove the string, protesting that she would get him a nice belt. Baba, in return, argued that he would be wearing a coat which would cover the string. However, he lost that argument immediately to Gaimai and wrote, and sorry, one second, just a second. Oh. Please forgive me, one second. Oh, God.
I can see the scene
All
of
right.
Baba with string.
Gaimai horrified, I'll just read this back. Gaimai horrified, the string was from a gunny sack used to clean floor, almost leapt on Baba to hurriedly remove the string, protesting that she would get him a nice belt. Baba in turn argued that he would be wearing a coat which would cover the string. However, he lost that argument immediately to Gaimai and wore the belt that night. Jai Baba. There was this I think it was Manzile meme time only when once Baba told Dr. Ghani that he's in a very good mood and today he'll give him whatever he asks for. And for long, Dr. Ghani had not eaten non-veg. So he asked that I want to have the nalli nihari and all of those, things, sheikh kebabs or whatever, all of that. And Baba granted him, there was a very famous restaurant around, and Baba granted him to go there and eat. And Ghani was thrilled, like what luck today that Baba said a yes to me to go and eat. And he went and ate his heart out and was like really in this pompous rich man mood of ordering everything that he could and galloped it all into his tummy for fun words that we can talk of. And the next day Baba was wanting to know of his encounter of eating all that wonderful non-veg that he was craving to eat. And Dr. Ghani, with all his elan, just mentioned of the lovely things that he ordered and how sumptuous and yummy and it was, and how thrilled and thankful he is for Baba to give him the permission to go and so on. And then Baba apparently nods his head, and then Baba gives him a task and says, you have to do a task which I tell you to do today in return of the permission that I gave. And Dr. Ghani says yes, and then Baba tells him to go in front of the same restaurant and beg for the entire whole day.
Yeah.
And Ghani had to adhere to that. So one day he was this rich pompous Seth, as they call in India, ordering with a huge bill at the end of the day. And the next day he had to go outside and beg from the people who were coming out of the restaurant. And my God, it just reading some of these kind of stories, they are fun, but it gives goosebumps to just realize that what grace was bestowed upon them to carry out every single order that Baba gave and go through it, and
Yeah.
everything that Mandli went through in, you know, putting that into action. And without grace, I'm sure humanly it wouldn't have been possible. And
There's a
it,
story of Bauji with the Faluda, and it's actually, with close to the equinox of the spring, the 21st of March, which is also the Parsi New Year. So Baba orders Bauji to go to that place to get the Faluda from, because they were always in two houses. Baba was with the lady Mandali, and the Mandali used to be further away. So he tells him to go and get the Faluda to bring to the house that he was in with the ladies. So Babaji goes, he goes, and it's in Mahabaleshwar, I think, the story. So he goes and he comes there, and the two servant ladies take this huge pail of faluda and put it on his back, on his head, and he goes, and they send him off. And it's terribly heavy. It's terribly heavy. And Bauti is carrying this load, and it's really heavy. It's really terrible. And he is walking to go back. And on the way, there is this place where the manager of the house that they were renting is living there. And when Bauti used to go back and forth from Baba, he used to stop and talk to this man and at Parsi, and he used to talk to him. And you know, Bauji, he loves people and he is so social. And they used to talk probably about God, about Baba, about things like that. So he said, now I don't want to meet that man, you know, because I'm looking like a servant, you know, because Baba made the Mandali always carry their loads like a servant. And in India, it's not like that. You don't do that. There are people who are in the lower caste, and they would do that for pennies, you know, for nothing almost. So Bauji does not want to meet that man. So he goes past and he's breathing, you know, this heavy thing on his head. He's forgetting about it. Just he doesn't want to meet that man. And he's passing by and the man is not there. And he's so happy. And suddenly this man appears from a byline and he says, and he starts talking to him or says, don't you have any servants to carry this load on your head? And Bauji just doesn't want to talk to him and just goes fast and comes to Baba. And there someone helps him to take it down. And Baba asks, I think it's Pendu and Eruch, and Baba asks them, is it heavy? And they say, this could kill a man. This could kill a man. And Bauji really always had, if you remember, he was with a cushion around his neck because he always had this problem with his neck. This could kill a man. So Baba knows exactly what Bauji's went through. You know, he doesn't care for the load that he was carrying on his head. He was caring for his honor in front of that man that he used to talk to every day. So Baba is talking to him and he says, "You're feeling bad about it, huh?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm feeling bad about it. You know, I'm really feeling bad. Why did you make me do that?" And he says, "Now go to this man, bring him this faluda, and tell him that you are my servant here. And that is your job, and you are very proud of it." So there he goes back to this man, and he tells him that. So it's very moving, you know, but it's very humorous, and it's very also humbling. So it's very much like the story that you were telling. So yeah, Baba put them through humbling, and he puts us through that too. He puts us through that too. And it is good, you know, because his humor always and his love is always supporting. And that is what is so beautiful. And, you know, it's better to be humbled and be with Baba than be not humbled and be not with Baba.
True. So beautiful. Thank you, Meher. Thank you. It reminds me of one of the times when during the night watch, Bhauji was, pressing Baba's legs, and apparently was feeling extremely hot in the room and perspiring. And he was wondering, how is Baba, like, uh, not feeling hot and there's no fan and things. And he's just thinking in his mind when, suddenly Baba, like, shivers like this and asks him to close even the windows. And Bhauji is like, what? Why is Baba asking to close the windows? And as per Baba's order, he goes and shuts the window, and he still has the thought. So at that time, I think Baba kind of turns and wakes up, and like again gestures, "Isn't it so cold?" And Bauji is perspiring, and Bauji is thinking like, so Bauji like kind of very hesitantly like, "No, like it is not cold." And Baba gets angry. "It's not cold. I'm telling you it is cold, and you're telling it is not cold." He's saying, "Baba, see, I'm sweating. It's so hot out here." And Baba says, "No, I am saying it is cold. When I say the sun is rising, the sun is rising. When I say that it is night, it is night. And it just, was one more thing of Baba breaking, whatever misconceptions of obedience that we may have of so many times. When people say, but why does Baba let the wrong happen? And there's this one quote, I don't remember the full quote, where Baba says that sometimes I do not say anything and allow things to happen the way they are.
Yeah.
And in words to effect, I feel he allows it to happen till he wants to pull off the plug.
Yeah.
So many a times when the wrong is happening and people may feel that, oh, there's nothing and I'm doing all good, and you just keep going on in his love and name. But sadly, it could be just one of his tricks where he's not saying anything and allowing our sanskaras to play out, you know.
I remember
So,
when I was in Meherabad one time, there was something going wrong. And I asked Baba, should I go and talk to that person? And he said to me, if they don't listen to me, do you think they will listen to you? If they don't listen to me, do you think they will listen to you?
beautiful. So
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And that's what I feel. Hi, Diana.
Yeah.
Betty, would you tell
Hi,
some of your
Diana.
folks?
So good to see you. Yeah. There's this
Bet-
other story. Of course, it's not verbatim, but once I think this is after the accident, and Baba is lying on his side facing the wall, and the door supposedly is behind, and the mandli, the men, are outside, and they are, kind of talking of. See how sad it is. Even God has to go through all these problems, and today Baba needs help to walk, and so much he takes on as human form to take on himself, and even God gets helpless at times, and to that effect some conversation is going on, and in amidst that conversation they hear Baba clapping from inside, and they go inside, and I don't remember, is it Baba's brother, or I don't remember who it is, but goes right up to the bed to see what Baba wants. And at that time Baba like kind of turns and just takes his one finger and just pushes him, and he gets thrown right to the door.
Yeah.
And and Baba gestures that, yes, he is weak, but never to forget that he is God.
Yeah. Wow.
Just a
Betty,
second.
you are muted, Betty. And why didn't you tell some jokes?
I can read more Will Rogers.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. There are three kinds of men. The ones that learn by reading, a few who learn by observation, and the rest of them have to pee on the electric fence and find out for themselves. In America, we have these, you know what an electric fence is, right?
Mm.
Okay. After eating an entire bull, a mountain lion felt so good he started roaring. He kept it up until a hunter came along and shot him. And the
Baba.
moral of the story is, when you're full of bull, keep your mouth shut.
Baba.
These are other few one-liners. Did you ever go to that restaurant that opened up on the moon? And I said, no. I said, it had great food, but no atmosphere.
No atmosphere.
And there was the other one. What do dentists call X-rays? Toothpicks.
Say it again.
Toothpicks.
Oh, that's good. Here we go. I've got one. Oops. Oh, go ahead.
No, carry on.
Arguing with a woman is like getting arrested. Everything you say can and will be used against you.
Yeah. Watch out.
Oh, okay, here's another one. My husband and I both have a cold. The only difference is I'm cleaning the kitchen and he's dying.
Baba.
Oh, here's a good one. I think Irma might have-
Prakash, now Prakash, you have a share?
No. I just felt like laughing, so I wanted to share my laugh. It was good, buddy.
Okay, I think maybe Irma, I'll tell this one again. Just before I die, I'm going to swallow a bag of popcorn kernels. My cremation is going to be epic.
I didn't understand it when she told it now,
Yeah.
and now I see the picture. Oh, Baba.
Of course, women don't work as hard as men. They get it right the first time.
Yeah, of course. Ralph has his hand up,
Oh, good. Well,
but it's muted. You muted, Ralph. Okay.
I hope I get this right. The first time I heard this was a Western couple. Most people know these. My COVID brain is in gear, so I can't think of their names. From
It's
North
okay.
Carolina, from Chapel Hill. Leah. And what was their last name? And what's his first name?
Leah.
You're thinking John
The
and Leah,
wife's name is Leah. And the
Ralph, are you thinking of John and Leah Florence?
yes, John Florence told this joke in Mondley Hall a long time ago. I know Erich was there, Monty. Mara may have even been there. This joke was, yes, there was a bird's nest with chicks in it, and one chick fell out. And along came a bull and took a big dump of hot, nasty dump pooped on the little bird. And of course, the little bird, being fresh out of the nest, was feeling cold. So the poop was quite warm and made the little bird feel warm. And yet there was something not quite right about it. And he began to chirp and sing and chirp and chirp and chirp. Well, a cat heard the little bird chirping and came along and snatched him out of the poop and ate him. And the moral to this story is, when we're up to our necks in poop, we should not chirp about it.
I think Baba is smiling now.
End story, end story.
My computer went rolling on the floor.
Rolling in laughter.
Yes.
Oh. But you have more? You have more?
You know, I've got
Yeah.
Irma sends.
There's-
Oh, go ahead. Roshni, go ahead.
There was a similar one which you talked about, of the argument with the women. It was about arguing with someone who loves their own voice is like rolling in the mud with a pig who loves and enjoys the time there while you get all mucked up.
That's messy. That's a messy
Yeah.
joke. Baba.
Okay.
Can you repeat that, Roshani? I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I shall repeat for the recording's sake. I shall repeat that first joke of the bartender.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
All right.
There was this one guy at a bar and he was drinking and he's challenging this other guy sitting next to him about drinking X many glasses of beer. And he says that if, I do that, I'll show you a trick and I'll jump out of the window and nothing will happen to me. So this guy says, oh, wow, okay, show me. And he drinks it up and says, you have to do the same after that. He says, okay, sure. And this guy is like, giggling inside that, oh, he's going to jump out the window and just be alive. So he goes to the window and this guy jumps out and then he looks up and waves out to that other guy and says, what the heck? How is he like alive after jumping out of the window? And the guy comes back to the bar and says, okay, now your turn. So this guy drinks it all up and then goes to the window and jumps and poof, he's gone. He's dead. This guy comes back to the bar and is drinking. Day 1, day 2, day 3, it continues. After about 4 to 5 days, a very calm placed bearded guy comes to him and says, that's not done, Superman. I sent you here for redemption, not to pop off people.
Superman.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Betty,
This
some
is-
more from those.
Good judgment comes from experience. And a lot of that comes from bad judgment.
Yeah. Mm. That's the truth. That's not a joke. Oh, Baba.
Some people want to try to turn back their odometers. That's your mileage thing in your car. Tells you how many miles your car went. Not me. I want people to know why I look this way. I've traveled a long way and some of the roads weren't paved.
Is that Will Rogers?
Will Rogers, that's right.
I didn't know they had odometers in his time. I thought he died before odometers rolled around.
Died in 1935, but I don't know, maybe that.
Yeah, and odometers. Okay.
I
I
told
didn't know. Yeah.
he,
Bye-bye.
you weren't here, I don't think, Ralph, when I said that Will Rogers met Baba twice. He met him first at Pick Fair.
Pick Fair.
Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford, and he spent half an hour. Baba reminisced, it's in Lord Meher, that he spent half an hour talking to Will Rogers. And then later in 1935, he met him at the Fox Studios, and he said he invited him to India. He invited Baba. Baba invited Will to come to India, and Will said he would, if he ever I'm messing it up. Baba invited Will to come to India and visit him, and Will said if he ever made it to India, he would definitely visit Baba. But he died. He was killed in a plane crash that year, so he never made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Some of these things.
There's this other one.
Yeah.
Where a child is asking his father, how were people born? So the father tells him, Adam and Eve made babies, then their babies became adults and made babies, and so on. The child is not completely convinced and wants another point of view. So he goes to his mother and he asks the same question. And the mother tells, we were monkeys, my child, and then we evolved to become the way we are now. The child runs back to his father and says, I knew, you lied to me. So his father says, no, what happened? So he tells him what mom said and says, oh, forget that. That is your mom's story because she was talking about her side of the family.
Oh, that's too good. That is good.
Once
A
a
very
friend,
quick-witted daddy. Yeah.
once a friend tells a friend that my friend told me that onion is the only food that can make you cry. So when I met him next, I threw a coconut at him.
That's dangerous.
Hello, Rajendra. Are you just joining us? Welcome. Let us know if you have a joke. Is it Rajendra? Is that right?
Yeah,
That's Murthy uncle. Jai Baba Murthy uncle.
hey Baba.
We are on first of April, so it's Fool's
Yes.
Day. So there are jokes here, Baba jokes.
Nehal, you could share the fool number 9 story of Bauji if you know or remember it.
Which?
The fool
Oh, the
number
fool
9.
number 9. Oh, fool number 9 is the story. Well, it's not so funny, but it's yeah, it is funny. But before they go out, Baba is going to the north somewhere, and one of his tours and darshan tours, and he says to Bauji, "I'm going to make you the head of the suicide squad." The head of the suicide squad. But he doesn't explain, Bauji doesn't answer, but he's thinking, what is a suicide squad? And how am I going to be the head of the suicide squad? So then I don't know how they're exactly connected, but they go out on this tour, and there is some mishap that is happening. One of the children of one of his lovers is supposed to bring a vehicle for Baba, a bus or something, and doesn't get on time, and they get stuck in a certain place, and Baba is very annoyed. But then, he overcomes his annoyance, and he puts everyone in line, and he starts saying, okay, now all of you stand in line, and Bauji is standing there also, and he goes from one to the other, and he says, you are fool number 1, you are fool number 2, you are fool number 3, and so on, and he gets to Bauji, and Bauji gets fool number 9. So, and he goes on. So I think there are about 100 people there, I think, if Bauji told the story once. And or maybe there's still this number still open. Anyway, that's how Bauji got his name, fool number 9. And he was very proud of it always. He was very, very happy with it, because when he came to be the chairman of the trust, and he had so many people talking about him and harassing and down talking him and back talking him and all pricking him from all over, then he used to say, all I am is fool number 9. We are all broken furniture, and I am just a potato. And he was so kind. He never got angry. He never, because Baba trained him so well that he trained him so well to be humbled by anything that anyone would say or do, that he never took that. He always stayed very strongly with Baba, and always tried to please his heart, even after Baba was out of the body. So this is how he got his name. Then when they came back, Baba made him the one to be in the Hindi writing, in the Hindi, how do you call it? When, Eric was doing the English writing to outside people, and he was doing the Hindi. So at that time, he thought that when Baba said, you're going to be the head of the suicide squad, is that he was going to be with those people who gave their life to Baba completely. And so they were like suicide squad, because they left this world and they just jumped to do Baba's work. So this is the story. Our Bauji,
How lovely.
what a beauty.
Thank you. Jai Baba. So beautiful. There's this other story of the possessed car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. So I'll say the name and whose dialogue it is. Erach. A day was then fixed for us to cart all our small pieces of luggage there at Khoja Gudda. We were to stay for some days, and from there, Baba told us we would walk all the distance to wherever we were next to go when his work was finished. At this cave, he said he would start the work of Manonash. We prepared ourselves, and the day came when we had to transfer the bags in the luggage packed in a trunk with the five emblems made of soft white stone, which I spoke of earlier: the Christian church, the Buddhist temple, the fire urn of the Zoroastrians, the Muslim mosque, and the Hindu temple. These were Baba's toys to play with as he started his Manonash work. We did not know what he wanted to do with these things, but he wanted us to carry them to the hill. I packed them, and Gustadji, Baidul, Pendu, and I were to take the luggage there. Then I had to take the car back to Baba. The next day, Don, that is Donkin, was to drive us back to the spot with Baba, and work would then start. When we arrived all together near the hill, I parked the car in a spot suitable to stop and park a car. The other Mandli started ahead to inspect the place and see whether the work was finished so that we could take the luggage up later. When I stopped the car, some urchins gathered around and started asking questions. It was for this reason I had to be particularly careful, and so I locked all the doors. In the meantime, the Mandli had not gone even halfway up the hill, and I started to follow them. Then, all of a sudden, when I was about 10 yards away from the car, it started moving. I thought that somehow I would be able to stop it. I tried to cling to it as it gathered momentum down the slope. I ran after the car like a madman, trying to clutch something to hold on to it, but there was no room, not even a footboard. The windows were all rolled up, so I had no way to steer the car or to try to get it to do something. I just tried as if to caress the car as I ran beside it. Money. But you had locked the doors. Irach? Yes, I had locked the doors, and I had to know. Sorry. I had locked the doors, and I had no way to unlock them now because it was already going to be at 10 to 15 minutes an hour and gathering speed. There were toddy palms about, like date palms. They often grow very tall, but sometimes they tend towards the earth in a sloping fashion. You won't believe it, but the car jumped over many of these trees, and it jumped over rocks like a horse. I tell you. By now, all the Mandli were down there just watching. They were dazed. They didn't know what to do. For the first time in my life, and I hope it will be the last, I was really frightened. I was not worried about the car or our luggage. There was no luggage. Practically, I, practically, but I was very worried about those models. Baba had told me especially to be very, very careful of them because only after long delay had we finally gotten them from Agra. They were made in Agra, by the way, in the north near Delhi. You know the Taj Mahal? Money. The white soft stone that they use for the models of the Taj Mahal? Dawn. And these had been made to special descriptions given by Baba. Eraj. Yes, to special specifications given by Baba. Many things had been done to get them just right, you see. And I was very afraid for them. I thought that all of them had certainly been smashed by now. Dawn. Months probably lost. Eraj. Months? Yes. But what do I find after the car had taken a run about 3/4 of a mile? It went into a paddy field, and there it got stuck. Dawn. What a miracle! Erach, it was a miracle, I should say. Slowly I got my breath back, walked down to the car, and opened the door. I thought that the oil pump and everything must have been broken, and Baba had asked me to bring the car back to him to the cave early next morning with Donkin. I did not know what to do. Sitting down in the driver's seat, I tried the engine. It started, but at once it began making a very peculiar noise. In fact, a frightful noise. I said, "It's all broken." So I just kept quiet, full of desperation. You see, I was frightened, really frightened. In the meantime, we were expecting a truckload of fuel to be delivered for our use. You know the type called faggots? We had to have a fire there, so we had ordered some wood or fire. Dawn. Carried by an auto truck, not a bullock cart? Erach. An auto truck, yes. So while I was just sitting there, the truck driver came with the truckload of wood. He came over to me and said, "What's the matter with the car? How is it that you have parked it in a paddy field?" I said, "Don't ask me that. You should have come about half an hour earlier." So I asked him to help me get the car out. We towed the car from the paddy field with the help of the truck and brought it to a safe place. There, on ground level, we tried to find out what had happened underneath. Some of the straw from the paddy had got caught underneath the motor, and this I removed. I again started the car, and you won't believe it. Nothing had happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing had happened to the car, and it started working. The peculiar noise had been due to the paddy straw. There was nothing wrong with it, and further, it didn't have a scratch on it. Dawn, and the models had not been cracked? Hirach, no, of course. I had first to carry the models up the hill in their trunk and then unload the precious packages and try to find out whether there was any damage. Nothing, not a scratch. Nothing had happened to anything. It was just that something had to happen to the car to give me the fright of my lifetime. Money. It jumped in its evolution and became a deer. Dawn. And Era jumped in his involution by planes. Erach, that was a sight, and still we remember it. Sometimes we reminisce, we remember that hour. It was a nightmare, so to say. Dawn. And did Baba hear of it? Erach, yes. The same evening when I went back, Baba inquired why I was late. What had happened? Was everything all right? And he was happy to hear all this and had a good chuckle. Just that, nothing more. Dawn, just a chuckle? Eraj, the thing I can never understand about the antics of that car is that it went first in the forward direction and then it would just slope when it had come almost to where there was just sheer rock. Then it would reverse. Dawn, actually reverse, would it? Neeraj, yes, it reversed. It would stop for a few seconds and then start again and gather momentum in the reverse direction. Then it would stop again, reverse itself or take a turn and go once more in the forward direction. Meanwhile, jumping over trees and stones and all that. Dawn, Eraj, was that gear shift in neutral? Erach, neutral? Yes. Dawn. Ah, because otherwise it couldn't have reversed. Erach. No, but I had put on the handbrake and everything was all right when I left the car. I'm very particular about cars because I've had bad experiences sometimes when the handbrake was not properly set. Also, I had to pay particular attention because of the terrain there. It was only after inspecting the car carefully that I locked the doors. Unusual, the behavior of that car. You know how Gustaji is when such things happen? More than what I narrated to Baba, it was Gustaji who made Baba happy. He embellished the story with different points of view because he was observing silence. Naturally, he had to act the scene. He would jump from place to place, sometimes acting the part of the children, sometimes acting the part of the car. This amused Baba a lot. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Beautiful. Yeah. Great story. Wow.
And I always kept wondering that really what had happened to the car.
Was a genie inside.
See, when we go to Hyderabad, that's where I live. I lived till before I came to this country. We used to go very often to this cave, and we must have walked over the place where this car went doing whatever it did. Manonash cave, yeah.
Yeah, right. Right. It's there that it happened, right? Good that you make the connection because I didn't, I saw it, like some kind of field somewhere. Yeah, it's true. There.
Yeah, there is this joke, a short one. There is this man who goes to the doctor. He says, my son swallowed a key. Doctor says, when? And the man says, 3 months ago. And the doctor says, what were you doing till now? And the man says, we were using the duplicate key.
Okay.
Is Google a male or female?
Well,
It is a female because it finishes the sentence and suggests before you can speak.
And it autocorrects.
And autocorrects.
Ralph, is your hand up?
Yes, his hand has not been put down. It must be paining.
No, I forgot to put it down. I'm sorry.
I know that was a lighter note, Ralph, that your hand must be paining since it's up since long.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Is that this one-liner? What happens to a frog's car when it breaks down?
mm,
It gets towed away.
Uh-huh.
Go to it.
So here is another one.
okay.
So this man goes to a store, right? And then he says, you cheated me. And the shopkeeper says, no, I sold a good radio to you. I mean, he was buying a radio. No, I sold a good radio to you. And the man says, radio label shows made in Japan, but the radio says, this is All India Radio.
Oh, funny.
That is
All
funny.
India Radio said another joke. So the Sardarji is in the plane and he is supposed to go to Delhi. And there is an emergency landing just outside Agra that has to take place. And in the olden times, they would say that, yeah, Kashwani Delhi hai, and we have got this emergency and da 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 da. But he takes on the Akashwani Delhi hai. So though everybody's supposed to say, he gets up because they open up the door and some people get out, and the Sardarji in all his hurry, just with his backpack that he had, gets off outside this small little emergency airport and tries to take a cab and tells the cab driver to take him to the Red Fort. So the cab driver says, oh, this is a nice scapegoat to make money today. He's dropping out of Agra and wants to go to the Delhi Red Fort. So the cabbie tells him, sit, sit. And the Sardarji sits in the cab. And then the whole day they are going around and round and round and they land nowhere. And at one point, at like post sunset, the car stops. And Sardarji says, what happened since whole day you are going around, round, round? Where is the Red Fort? So the cab driver looks outside and says, oh, till yesterday it was here. I don't know where it's gone today. So Sardarji says, I don't believe you, you are a cheat. You just drop me off and tell me how much money it costs. So the guy tells him some huge amount and the Sardarji has to shell out that amount and gets off. Now Sardarji sleeps and the next morning he is trying to walk in the, barren little forest area and he sees a well. So he says, oh, thank God, some water. And he goes to kind of splash water. And while he is doing that, there is another Sardarji walking from the opposite side and says, oh, brotherhood, another Sardar, he will definitely know where the Red Fort is. So this Sardarji also comes and splashes water and is standing. So he goes up and greets how they greet each other and then tells him, brother, can you tell me where is the Red Fort? And this guy gets very angry and slaps him tightly. He says, oh my God, why did you slap me? So he says, last 3 months I'm trying to find Qutub Minar over here and you are asking me where is Delhi Red Fort?
Oh, no.
What was he trying to find? What?
So it's a monument. It's a huge, the Red Fort is one of the biggest national monuments.
Right.
And so the other Sardar was finding another monument, which is Qutub Minar.
Oh, okay. Ah.
Another monument from what? So-
They're,
Oh,
but they're both in the same mistake. One is looking for the Red Fort, and the other one is looking for the Qutub Minar. And they meet at the same well. So they're both lost.
They're both lost, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Baba.
I have a good cartoon here. I'll share it. Let's see. This is from Irma. Oh, here we go.
Okay. There's this one. Once the teacher asked in the class, if I gave you all 2 cats and another 2 cats and then another 2, how many would you have? Johnny puts his hand up and says, Miss 7. So the teacher says, no, 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 no. Listen again carefully. If I give you 2 cats and another 2 cats and then another 2, how many would you have, Johnny? He again says, Ma'am, 7. Teacher says, let me put it in a different way to you. If I give you 2 apples and then another 2 apples and then another 2 apples, how many would you have, Johnny? So Johnny says, 6, ma'am. Wow, amazing. Now tell me again, if I gave you 2 cats and then I give you 2 more and then another 2, how many cats would you have now, Johnny? Ma'am, 7. The teacher is wild now. Johnny, where in the heck do you get this 7 number from? Johnny says, because ma'am, I already have 1 cat at home.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Baba.
Here's a cartoon that Irma made. Can you see? Yeah.
Not yet.
You see it now? Whoopsie.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wait. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I'll read
Okay.
it to you. Your retardation is disadvantageous. I propound you all vamos with great importunity. And the caveman says, oh crap, it's a thesaurus. That's,
So what?
you know what a thesaurus is? It's a book. What?
Oh, it's a book of words. It's a book of
Right,
words.
book of words. It's a book of
It's a book of synonyms, so you can supplant one word with another word. That's fancy.
Right.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's a thesaurus. A walking thesaurus.
Right.
Oh, that is beautiful. Well, she's a writer, so it fits her.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
all about. Oh, here, I'll stop share.
Oh, Baba.
Okay.
Oh, that was nice.
There's this other one which says, it's no joke when Baba tells you, tell me a joke.
Right.
This story is told by Mani Sirani, Meher Baba's sister, and it is from 1948 at Nazar. Baba had called Norina Machabelli, Elizabeth Patterson, Delia de Leon, and Jean Adriel back to India for a few months' stay. Mani recalls evenings in the sitting room with Baba when he would suddenly ask for jokes. In Mani's words, as I've said, the simplest little thing can become big when you are doing it for Baba. Well, believe me, a joke is no joke when Baba asks you to tell one when you are not feeling like it. When Baba tells you, tell me a joke, you go blank. As I said, it's no joke. In the evenings when we were sitting around Baba, he often would suddenly ask, tell a joke, joke, joke. Inside yourself, you would start wringing your hands, you'd start biting your nails. Joke, joke. So after a while, Delia, John, Norina, and Elizabeth, who were the ones having to tell the jokes, thought, something has got to be done. So Norina and Elizabeth sent an SOS to friends in the States. Send us a book of jokes. By airmail came this dictionary of jokes. 4 of them divided it up. So and so as A to F from G to whatever and so's. They all had a section of jokes accordingly. And poor Norina had a portion that was all jokes about little Tommy. Always bright little Tommy. Now, you didn't read out a joke to Baba, you had to learn it by heart beforehand and then come and tell it to him. So Norina would tell the Tommy jokes. She would imitate the voice of little Tommy. As we sat with him, Baba would say, "All right now, jokes." And Delia would tell her joke. And Norina would tell a joke. And Elizabeth and Jane Adriel Money imitated John's Adriel's monotone voice. She had a way of talking that made everything sound the same, but she could really tell a good joke. They were all good in their own way. One day, Delia wasn't well. She had a cold or something. Baba said she shouldn't come over to the bungalow, but she should stay in her room for 2 or 3 days until her cold was all right. In the meantime, Norina, Elizabeth, and John filled in for her in the joke department. 2 days later, when she was better, Delia came and sat in the sitting room along with the others in the evening. When it was her turn to tell a joke, she started out in a dramatic way. But Baba looked at her and said, "What's the matter with you? I've heard that before." "Oh, Baba!" Money imitated Delia's distinctive English accent and uneasy laugh. "I can't understand how you could have heard that one. I haven't. Oh, but, well, I have another one, Baba." Uneasy laugh again. So she told another one. Again, Baba interrupted. "This is too much. I've heard that one too." In the meantime, none of us realized, but Baba was looking at Norina sitting in the corner, and Norina was trying to slide down into her chair as far as she could. Suddenly, Baba turned round to her and said, "Norina, why did you do it? Why did you swipe Delia's jokes?" "Oh," said Delia. Norina looked positively guilty. So Baba said, "Why? Why, Norina?" And Norina said, "Darling, I was sick of Tommy. I was so sick of Tommy." But that reminds me that there was one Tommy joke that Baba really enjoyed. In the joke, the teacher asked a class of children, "Can any of you tell me where God is?" The children all looked at each other. They didn't know where God was. What could they say? But of course, Tommy, Norina's Tommy, the bright guy, he put his hand up. He knew all the answers. The teacher was very pleased. "All right, Tommy, that's good. Now, can you tell everybody where God is?" And Tommy said, "This is the same joke that Ralph just mentioned." And Tommy said, "God is in our bathroom at home." "What? God is in your bathroom at home?" "Tommy, whatever made you say that?" Tommy replied, "Well, Daddy goes up to the bathroom door every morning and knocks and says, 'Oh Lord, are you still in there?'" Baba was so pleased with that joke.
Was Prakash who told that story?
Prakash, sorry.
Oh,
Hey, you know, Prakash, you're a golfer, and I don't think you heard, who told that? Oh, it was Tony. The golf joke. Is it okay, you guys, if I tell that joke again? Jesus and Moses were playing golf, and Moses took a big swing, and oh no, no, it was Jesus. Jesus took a big swing, and the ball went way up in the air, and it almost landed at a hole in one, except that a rabbit came and got the ball and started to run off, and and then there was, I think there was lightning and thunder, and an eagle came down, swooped up the rabbit, and took the rabbit up in the air, and then the rabbit let go of the ball. And I think there was a hole in one. I can't remember about that.
yeah, there was, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
so Moses turns to Jesus and says, "So you gonna play golf, or are you gonna keep playing around?"
Your magic, yeah.
Good joke.
Beautiful.
Years back when I was, going through my, leaving my film work and getting into something that I'd never dreamed of. There was this thing about, just being quiet and in the closet and not telling anything to my colleagues and all, because if I had to start telling things, then, there goes my chance to become a filmmaker. So I was hesitant to put anything out on Facebook or share anything. And I was, quite suffocated because there was no one I could tell anything that was happening. And every day I would get this thing, like, to write on Facebook, and, speak it out and share. And then one fine day, early in the morning, I get this picture, and it is a little cartoon kind of a thing that is drawn. And there's this god kind of character standing tall, and there's this little fluttery angel behind him, and saying, God, if you want to reach more people, you have to get on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that was such a sweet sign. But the catch is, this was after praying to Baba. I was just, I just got to know Baba at that time. That was like praying that, no, I cannot, I cannot explain these things to anyone in my, fraternity circles, and everybody would make fun of me, and I would be complete outcast, and I would be stopped invited at these big events and all of that. And every day I would fight with myself and pray out for a solution. And then next morning, after like some persistent 10-15 days of praying, this little thing popped up, and I went hysterical seeing it. But then I started
So
writing
what
on
did you do?
Facebook.
What did you do, Roshni?
I put up that picture and I started writing on Facebook.
About
Yeah,
Baba?
what happened? And what happened
Sorry,
to all
no,
the
at that time
circle?
it was more of my experiences and things that were churning in my life.
You mean spiritual kinds of things, or
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, Baba
but
thing.
not-
Yeah.
So what happened to the circle of
Yeah.
people? Did they
Yeah.
did they shun you? Did they shun you?
Yes, I shut off from most of them, and
Wow.
I still have a bunch who call me mad. So yeah, it's fine.
Humbled, humbled, yeah,
Whatever
humbled.
makes them happy.
Baba. Oh, Baba.
There are plenty of Baba lovers in show business here in
Yeah.
the States, and they don't. I was thinking of Tamara Mark when she had that movie about her autistic sons. She had a great big poster of Baba in that movie, and she talked about they went to MEHERA, and it was a wonderful movie that she made about autism and her boys. But she had no problem talking about Baba too.
But this was in like 2010, and it was very, any which ways, everything that was happening to me was very unknown and nascent to me. So
Right.
therefore, so it was not about particularly about talking with Baba. But another funny story, that earlier, like I'd heard this statement of Baba saying, until somebody wants, even my name will not fall upon your ears, so word to effect. So I when I was like getting swooped into his web of love, I had all these photographs that I'd got from Meherabad, and I wanted to frame them and put them up. And then I remembered, oh, I have all these people and clients and everybody coming into my house, and then if they see photographs, they will obviously ask me. So I think I'm interrupting Baba's work, because nobody's ears will hear his name till he wants. And then maybe I'm enticing the situation by them asking if they see the photograph. So I hid all the photographs and didn't make any photo frames out of them, and put them in the envelope. And one fine day, a very devout Catholic lady who was a client had come, and she would always go away home after her session. And once she tells me, can I have some nice Parsi chai today in your house? And I said, oh, of course, like, sure. And then I get this little nudge of talking to her about Baba. And I'm like, no, 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 this cannot be. Like, I can talk to her like she's all very Jesus and very devout, and she will think that why am I stepping onto such sensitive matter of telling her about Baba being Jesus or anything of that sort. And I was like completely taken. So after a few minutes, I just told her, give me 2 minutes. The chai was coming in. I went into the room. I said, Baba, you can't do this. I cannot tell this lady. I cannot tell this auntie about you. And if at all you really want me to tell, then you open up the conversation. And after about like 5-7 further minutes of gripping myself, I went out. By the time the chai was there, and I was sitting there, so I had quietly carried out a small book, the blue book of who is God, that little one, and kept it, on my side. And after some time, she tells me, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to Egypt to my brother, and I won't be there for about 6-8 months. And I'm so thankful that I, came all these days over here. And, then I pray. I get so, so, so sad every day." I said, "Why?" "Because so much is happening in the world, all these things, people are killing each other, all these wars and all this. I have no clue. What is Jesus doing up there? Why isn't he planning to come?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, a lot of things happening in the world." "Yes. And my Jesus, the kind Jesus, he would jump. He would jump to come immediately when all these things are happening. And I'm wondering, why isn't he doing something? And my heart cringes every day when I pray. And sometimes I get very angry at him. But then he's the Lord, so I let it be." She keeps sipping the chai, and then she's looking around, and then she glimpses it through my other room where a photograph of Baba is there. Now nothing is in front of her, and she just bends. "Is that your God?" I said, "Who?" So I also looked. I said, "Oh," I said, "Yes, yes, he is God. He's your God." But you all pray to the fire." I said, "Yes, we pray to the fire, but this is my God." "Oh, it's your personal God." I said, "Yeah, but he looks exactly like Christ."
Oh,
I
Baba.
said, "Yeah, it is that ancient one picture which was there."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, he looks like Christ, especially in this picture. But what if we are so ignorant that Christ has come down and we don't come to know?" Not possible. Not possible. If Christ comes down, all and everyone, at least all of us will know, even if all the people in the world don't know. I said, "Yeah, but sometimes our ignorance takes better of us and we don't believe God." I said, "Just, for example, when Ram was there, he was just a nice man. He was an obedient son. Nobody knew that he was God. It was much later, maybe at least a full, century over." So I was trying to play on the thing of manifestation of 100 years in my head and telling her how manifestation happens after the 100 years. But the way Baba steered the conversation was funny. And at the end of the conversation, cutting it short, that she went back to Egypt with that blue book, Who is God?
Oh,
Wow.
she did. Oh, wow.
This is an amazing story. Amazing.
Great story.
And
Great story.
and it was and at that day, in the night while praying, it came to me that even if I put the photographs throughout my house, only people who have to ask for me will ask for me.
Right. Right.
And from that day it didn't matter. And then, just like that other joke that Prakash shared on the audio, if you have one man's photograph throughout your house, then you're a Baba lover.
Yeah.
Oh, Jai Baba.
Yeah. Oh, Baba, thank you for all these jokes and stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's this time. Should we? It's about an hour and a half now. That's good.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah.
That was a
When is the
beautiful.
next session?
We
Yeah.
better do this more. Yeah, we don't need to wait for April. Yeah, let's do it. Let's.
Good idea.
We all come with jokes. We all come prepared.
True.
That's a good idea, to have a short one once in a while and just to bring some jokes about
Why not? Yeah. Well, it's always okay at Artie, but we have forgotten about jokes at Artie. We need to bring them back. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And Roshana, you have to come next session, right? Is that a deal?
Yes. When are you planning to have? We should have one session at least every month.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Well, okay, let's get the
Yes.
calendar.
Because
Yeah, he's
there is so
sprouting
much happening. It would be good
sprouting
to laugh
for
our
you.
heads out with Baba.
Yeah, even half an hour, even not a
Yes.
big one,
Right?
Yes, it may
Yeah.
not be long.
Yeah.
May-
Just half an hour,
maybe
1 hour.
Yeah.
Is this a good time for you? It's kind of right. It's not too late for you,
8
right?
o'clock. Yeah, 8 to 9 we could do that. That would love it.
After
Yeah.
morning Archie. Oh, some of us don't get up, but
Yeah.
a lot of us do.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Or we could do it a little later. I'm fine with like this time also, like 9:30 to 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, or 9:30 to 10:30.
Okay. Okay. We'll check. Okay. We will
9
get
to 10 would be ideal. Then, some of our Indian friends also, it's not too late for them
not
and
too late.
could join in.
Okay.
Yeah.
9
We
to
could
10.
have a nice,
Uh-huh.
happy, humorous session,
Yeah.
and,
People can
just
prepare.
shed all our woes and worries.
And Tony will
rolling
come
on the
next
floor.
time. Let's make Tony come. He's good.
Yeah.
All right.
There's another one. Okay, last one if we are ending the session.
Tell me. Go ahead.
I think it'll
Okay.
gain popularity.
So once
Yeah.
He's for it.
If it could be in the evening, not it. Well, I don't know.
We have to get so that the Indians are comfortable too.
Let it just we're just
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Brown had 2 sons. Now, one was named Mind Your Own Business, and the other one was named Trouble. So, one day, both the boys were playing and decided to play hide and seek. And Trouble hid while Mind Your Own Business was counting 1 to 100. So, Mind Your Own Business began looking for his brother behind the garbage cans and bins and bushes. Then he started looking in under the cars until a policeman approached him and asked, "What are you doing, little boy?" "Playing a game," the boy replied. "What is your name?" the officer questioned. "Mind your own business." Furious, the policeman inquired, "Are you looking for trouble?" The boy replied, "Why, yes. How the hell did you know?"
Baba. Oh, Baba.
Good. Yeah. Okay, you're up. We'll do this again. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Say, Rama.
Good night
And
and
Jai
good
Baba.
day.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jai Meher
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Lovely to see you, Gail.
and
Jai
Jai
Baba,
Baba,
Dan.
thanks for the morning giggles.
yeah,
Jai Baba Prakash, Mars, Dana, Ralph. Jai Baba.
and
Bye.
Diana.
Lots of love to all of you.
Look for
Star
jokes.
Meher Baba ki
DJ.
jai. Star Meher Baba ki
DJ.
jai.
Jai.
Star
Navita
Meher
Maya
Baba
Baba
ki
Ki
jai.
Jai.
And happy April Fool's Day.
Okay, look
Yeah.
for jokes. Keep your eyes out for jokes. Okay.
Nice.
Baba. Oh, Prakash, you have to end it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
All right. All right.